Welcome back to TYT Sports. Jason and JR here to start discussing Steve Sarkisian, recently fired from USC's head coaching position after heading into the weekend. He was on intermittent leave by Athletic Director Pat Haden. JR randomly holding a USC alumni mug, considering he went to the University of California, Los Angeles. But
I went there to kick some ass.
Right. The biggest rivalry of your college career?
Yeah, well, as everyone knows, I ran track. I didn't do anything like contact, so I can't really actually kick anyone's ass. But yeah, they beat us consistently in the dual meet.
Oh,
we had a great sprint team. Let's get on this tangent real fast. We had a great sprint team. We destroyed them. We didn't have enough middle distance to long distance, and they would sweep every one of those events and beat us by 1 to 2 points every time.
But the real question is,
it was the most frustrating thing I had to take part in.
what were the bar tabs for your head coach during your time at USC?
The bar taps?
The bar tabs.
Is this a term? I don't know.
Bar tab, T-A-B, as in how much money was being run up by your head coach?
Oh, the bar. I thought you meant like him getting fucking fired for us losing. No, he. You know what? I don't think Coach drank at all.
No, well, that's probably a good sign.
He sounded like a
coach.
Smoker, but he didn't drink.
Right, that's an ironic twist for a track and field coach.
He doesn't have to run anymore.
Right, that's very true. He's just telling you guys to run. But so Steve Sarkisian, real interesting stuff out of USC and Athletic Director Pat Haden, because in addition to the incident back in August, which was kind of the biggest red flag for Sarkisian and Pat Haden, USC Athletics, at that point. It was the booster event to which multiple people tried to stop Sarkisian from going up and making a speech, in which he went up there at it was a pep rally of sorts. And Sarkisian gets on stage, and he, as LA Times put it, expletive, and then went into the Trojan fight song. Basically, he was giving like a hell yeah Trojans.
He was hyped up,
yeah,
man.
Trojans.
He's hyped up.
Absolutely, but potentially also under the influence of alcohol too.
First season off of all the limitations and recruiting limitations he had, so he's excited for the season, right? You think this is going to go down. So, I mean, maybe that's part of why it could be written off. And then also, it was the mix of alcohol and painkillers for whatever else he may have been going through.
So, yeah, he said,
so they're thinking, oh, this is just a one-off thing.
What was interesting about that, too, was, and this is how it ties back into when he was the head coach at Washington. Back in 2008, Washington was a tremendously bad football program, 0-12. Winless in that season. Sarkisian came in and really did turn that program around. They had much success. They went to bowl games. And two of the players who went high in the NFL draft over the last few years, Shaq Thompson and Danny Shelton, defensive linebacker and defensive end respectively, after that booster event, basically started tweeting out saying nothing has changed, hashtag not shocked, not surprised, alcohol mixed with medication. We've heard that before. So when you look back on the time with Sarkisian at Washington, we grabbed from the LA Times, there was a bunch of receipts, over 500 receipts found from LA Times reporters and I believe New York Times reporters. And the one thing that I want to kind of start this off with is if you see like $1,400 bar tabs in terms of alcohol and drinks, I mean $146 bar tabs I can do on my own weekend, but $722. When you start seeing the amount, a lot of it includes other head coaches. It includes, the other coaching staff at USC. He's also a notoriously bad tipper for the most part, at least what I've seen on most of these receipts, including some that have no tip.
This guy's getting it from everywhere.
And of course, if you go back to that, if we can, or I'll put it up afterwards, like he favored Patron. That was one of the drinks of choice, according to many of the sources. So,
well, this is the hard thing. I think you can probably see a lot of bar tabs. First off, it's the Roosevelt, so it's expensive in the first place.
Right.
But I'm going to criticize him more for ordering 35 Coors Lights. I assume he's ordering them for other people.
Who drinks Coors Light?
And he didn't drink the 35 Coors Lights, so as you were saying, maybe other coaching staff and people are on this bar tab. But don't order Coors Light. Don't drink that shit. Okay.
That actually was one of the other ones because again, according to this LA Times article, eyewitness accounts is saying that. And this is where I think it becomes, a little bit subjective because as you just mentioned, like a $1,400 bar tab. No, Steve Sarkisian cannot consume $1,400 worth of alcohol and live the next day to tell the story. Granted, the eyewitness accounts from those nights say that he was under the influence most of those nights, but again, he's a grown man. He's allowed to drink alcohol. I'm not trying to defend that if he does have a drinking problem or not.
But the drinking problems always come in when someone, first off, if you drink a lot and people are like, oh, he's a drinker, but then he's still doing his job, it's not spilling over into his next day.
They were undefeated.
Yep. It's not keeping him from getting, his job done. People are like, oh, he's a drinker and he likes to have fun. And the alcoholism comes in once it starts deteriorating your life and your profession. That's when this all started going down in that way. But, so even when he was up at Washington, by the way, so I just want to get to the atmosphere of alum of USC.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
it's what frustrates me a little bit. So we have this, since the Pete Carroll days, because before that, we were kind of mum, we were down as one of the historic programs. What are we going to do? This Pete Carroll guy comes in like, oh, who's this? Who knows? I don't know. We'll give him a chance.
Right.
And he comes in and does everything that he did. And we're longing for those days so much. From the freshman that just came in this year to the 86-year-old rich alum and booster who wants things to come back to when he remembers it, when it was the Pac-8. So,
Wow.
so from that full stretch of alum, everyone is angry all the time if
Right.
you lose one game, because that's the nature of college football. So they're like, okay, so Pete Carroll's out. Lane Kiffin, oh yeah, he was the quarterback coach when Pete was here. It's going to be just like before we had all these quarterbacks who won Heisman's. It was Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart,
John David Booty.
He
did win Heisman.
Mark Sanchez. Everybody was fucking, so everyone's excited. Oh, the quarterbacks coach is going to take over. There's going to be another Pete Carroll. We know what Lane Kiffin was. Lane Kiffin leaves. And then when Sarkisian's up in Washington, he's kicking our ass. Oh, he knows how to beat USC because he was here when Pete Carroll was here. So bring in Sarkisian. Oh, Sarkisian, go Sark. He's here for a season and a half. And we're like, fire Sark. Oh my God, he lost 2 games. So the atmosphere of us insane SC alum is a little annoying to me. I see it online, I see it on Twitter, I see it on Facebook. As soon as, if we're down 24-10 at halftime, fire Sark at halftime. Get him the fuck out of the building. Calm down. There's probably something else going on.
So speaking of Twitter, social media, Cowherd came out this morning and said, don't believe what you're seeing. Don't believe everything you're seeing on social media, which is a pretty good advice in general. Don't believe everything you see on social media. People like me and JR tweet out very random things to people when we watch our sporting events. Yeah. But he was saying that his sources say that they're overplaying the narrative that Sark is this stumbling, drumbling alcoholic on the sideline, and he's drunk during games, and he can't control his drinking problem. And they're using it as a reason, they being Pat Haden, using it as a reason to get him out. Now, whether that's true or not, there's enough evidence that I've seen that I would say that he must have some sort of at least slight drinking problem, because all the accounts from back in Washington of there's alcohol on his breath, and we have some quotes actually I want to get to, 3 different accounts from 3 different players saying he looked like he came off a bender. So let's start for the first one. This is from the Washington players. Another former player said he smelled alcohol on Sarkisian during team meetings on one or two occasions, and other times noted that the coach's eyes appeared to be bloodshot, glazed, while he seemed unusually confrontational. We move forward. 2 other former players said Sarkisian and other coaches regularly consumed alcohol in the offices. One said the coach typically kept an 18-pack of JR's favorite beer, Coors Light, stashed near his desk, and that he appeared uncharacteristically loud and unsteady on some team flights. One comment for that, real quick. Coaches keep alcohol in their office. After a win, after a tough loss, have a drink. Again, it's not like these coaches are handing out Patron shots to 18-year-olds in the locker room. No, they have their offices, you're allowed to drink. You're over the age of 21 and you have a high-pressure job. That makes sense to me. And the last one was one of the former, one ex-player said that in 2009, his Sarkisian's first season with the Huskies, the coach sometimes arrived at morning team meetings smelling like booze. Oh, yeah, eyes all red like he's been on a bender. Right. So, and these are, again, things have changed. These are 2009, 2010, 2011. But the booster event kind of signaled that maybe he hasn't changed and he still consumes. Like
even on Sunday, the day when it started with the suspension because he showed up drunk.
Right.
We talked about former Washington players that said, "Oh, I've seen this before," and then the current SC players. I think I saw this in one account. They said, "Oh, he showed up at the team meeting on Sunday." Drunk, again, like here we go again. So even the current players even see this as it's been a reoccurring theme. So it's not the first time they've seen it. So I'm not sure where, what Cowherd said it, I'm not sure where his sources are on this type of stuff, but it doesn't really add up with the people who the sources are named and they're in the building and they've been in the building in previous years with him. This is a problem for him. And when it comes to being an excuse, I think it's twofold. Yeah, you kind of have to get a guy out of there who's having problems. I think he's going through a divorce. A guy who's having problems and also self-medicates, obviously, with alcohol. So from that, and also I do think to a degree they're quelling the bloodthirst of impatient fans and alum.
Yes. I agree with that. And part of it, and again, I don't like to play the blame game. Pat Haden's to me has one more shot. The next coach you hire, got to get it right. Because if they're down 24-10 at halftime, what are they going to say?
Fire anyone.
Fire Spurrier. He happens to be retiring from football the day Sarkisian
He's retiring
gets fired.
from all of college football forever. Steve Spurrier is.
He's
impressive. Never going to coach another football team again.
It's impressive because we don't know where his birth certificate is, and he might very well be the oldest living man on the planet. Lastly, 30 for 30. Pete Carroll, the timing couldn't be more perfect. There's the whole USC. I've been calling it a dumpster fire ever since Pete Carroll left. The USC dumpster fire, 30 for 30, is coming out
We're worried about
tonight.
the same thing. Well, Ed Ogeron was one that we liked because he was only there for a bowl game and a half a season or something like that.
And they won the bowl game.
Yes.
So, but at a halftime, you're telling, give him a bonus.
Yeah. And I think Ogeron, if I remember correctly, he left because it didn't look like it was leaning to him getting the job. So he was like, I'm not going to be a part of someone's staff
circus,
that you hired. Because they wanted to keep him, but just as an assistant. He's like, listen, dude, I can head coach a team. So he did his own thing.
He was all about, he's like, no, that makes sense.
But by the way,
that's fair.
If Ogeron had stayed on, we would have lost a game. And everyone would be like, fire Ed! Fire Ed!
Hashtag fire Ed. So there you have it. A lot of news developing with Steve Sarkisian. It's going to continue throughout the week. Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. What do you think about USC's next head coach?
It's got to get out of the Pete Carroll tree. It's got to get out of it. Because Pete Carroll was the reason for it. So it's not, you're just going to get another Pete Carroll out of that tree. Come on. He led these other coaches.
Start the hashtag JR Jackson for USC head coach. Let's get him on there.
He'd be my first assistant.
Oh, God, we'd be
0-12
in no time. Follow JR at JR Jackson and myself at JasonRubin91. TYT Sports on Twitter at TYT Sports. Like, favorite, subscribe, all the good stuff. Comment below. We'll see you next time.